Kingdom people, they need you to need their approval to feel approved. And so, kingdom people, listen, there are these people, them ones that wanted you to need their approval. And so, of course, they became aware, they came to the realization that you don't care nothing about their approval or no one else's for that matter. Furthermore, even let's just say, for giggles and jokes, that you were needing someone's approval. You wouldn't need the approval of these people. In other words, if you need approval, I'm hearing you would need an approval for that loan you need. You would need approval for something you apply for. But even where it concerns people, you would need approval to proceed with something that they may have some kind of control or authority over. That's the kind of approval that you would need. Even if it concerns people, you would need, and not that you actually need it, but we just saying, if you were seeking approval, you would be needing approval of people that are kind of ahead of you, or have gone before you, or are more advanced in something that you're doing or something that you're learning to do. You would need their approval, if you're going to need approval, if we're going to call it that, to know that you are going in the right direction. So these people who want you to need their approval, first of all, they're not even going in the right direction. So you wouldn't look to them for any kind of approval. You understand that these people are, first of all, not only in darkness, but they're full of darkness. And so, kingdom people, you won't be needing or seeking their approval for anything, even where approval is necessary. It's not necessary with them. But these people wanted you. Notice I said wanted. They still want. They wanted you to need their approval, but they realized you're not out here seeking approval, especially from them. They have nothing to offer you. And when I say they have nothing to offer you, I don't mean that in a sense where you out here just trying to get over or get what you can from people. But let's face it, we live in a world where we do need other people to go further along, people who are in position, who are in authority. And of course, for us being kingdom people, being people of God, God orchestrates that on our behalf. So we're not out here like worldly people necessarily seeking that out. We let God work those things out for us, and we proceed as He leads us. And so, kingdom people, these people have another thing coming, because first of all, you don't need their approval. As I already said, they not offering nothing. They not even in line or in position for the things that you're on, the things in the direction you going, or anything like that. They understand this. They realize this. And what's happening now is they at a place where they want you to need their approval so they can feel approved. Because what's really happening is that they really want your approval. They want you to co-sign them. They need you to need their approval so they can feel approved. And here's the thing, the interesting thing that God said to me is this. They can get approval from all other kind of people, because here's the thing. People like them, they co-sign them, they approve them. But they don't want that approval from them. Here's the issue. You don't approve the kind of nonsense they're on. You're not approving people being riddled with demons, under demonic possession, and not doing the things to get free of that. And it's not so much kingdom people that you look down on people who are riddled with demons, or, just, kind of out here just in a bad place, even in darkness. Because, you have to start somewhere. God brings us out of darkness into the marvelous light. So before you brought into the marvelous light, you're in darkness in some capacity. Now, while you wish and hope and pray that these people come out of the darkness that they're in and be rid of those demons that they're riddled with, while you do pray that and hope that for them, you don't approve their behavior. You don't approve how they're operating, because these are the kind of people, these people in particular, they're not even in a place where they're trying to get free. They're just trying to get what they want. You know, they want to stay how they are, but just get the good stuff, get the blessings. And in this case, they want your approval. They need your approval. They need you to need their approval to feel approved. In other words, they want you to need their approval so they can feel okay about where they are. It's the same as saying that where they are is okay. They're, you know, these people have a thing with, because they thought that they had it going on, and perhaps they did in some way. They don't feel like that anymore. They feel like you the one that got it going on, but they want to still feel like they're you know, doing something important. They want to still have that sense of importance. Since you came along, you kind of stripped them of that, not trying to, but just because of who you are, how you operate. And so they don't want to have to, as we like to say, do the work. They don't want to have to change anything. They don't want to have to, you know, go to God. They don't want to. And so they want you instead, I can't even find the right word, to need their approval so they can feel approved right where they are. In other words, they want you to be okay with what it is that they own, what it is that they're doing. Now, you may ask, why would they care about my approval? Why would they care about your approval? Because of who you are. They understand that God approved you. So they feel like if you need their approval, that's the same as God approving them. But we know, yes, that's twisted, distorted, all those things, because these people, you know, can't take what they twisted and distorted in their thinking and in their ways. And so that's the thing. They need you to be distorted and need their approval, seek their approval so that they can feel approved, because they feel like they need your approval. They need you to need their approval so they can feel approved. That would give them approval. But again, you can't approve. First of all, you're not going to seek their approval, but you can't approve that nonsense. And the thing is, kind of people, they know. They very well aware that you're not getting ready to approve that nonsense. These people are very well aware. You know, I want to say, you know how they say, some people don't know they're being used. Well, if they didn't know, they know now. They very aware that they being used. They under demonic possession. They know that they on the wrong side of things. They know they all in with the devil. You know how they know? Because they know you all in with God. They know God approves you. They know God is backing you. And they know they're outside of that. They know. So they understand and they know that they're on the wrong side of things. They know. They are very aware that they are under the control of Satan, even if they didn't realize it in that way before. They know their evil ways. They know you are the opposite of that. And through their experience with you, trying to stop you, block you, witchcraft, you, all what they done done, they understand that you are protected. Again, they understand that God backs you. So they know they're on the wrong side of things. Yet, they're in this place. They're still having this stance of wanting you to need their approval. They went back to square one. What they initially wanted, because they don't want to change their ways. Furthermore, kind of people, they're very prideful. These are the kind of people, and I can't even talk. These are the kind of people that they so prideful that they don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe. They don't want to shift from, you know, what they believe what they knew that it was. And even though it has shifted, even though they are aware, even though they recognize the truth, they don't want to accept it, but it is what it is. So they want to go back to square one and need you to need their approval so they can feel approved in their mess. And the crazy thing with pride to me in these instances is like, it's not that they don't know. They just don't want to bend to the truth. Again, they don't want to change to it. They just want to stay in their stance that ain't really what it is. They want you to bend to what they're wanting so they can still feel like they felt prior to your appearance. Or for some people, prior to your transformation. Because for people that knew you, this a new you. People that been knowing you, this a new you. So whatever it was, how you related to them and engaged with them, or whatever your relationship was then, it's not that anymore because of your transformation. And so they don't want to, they want it to be what it was. They want to still feel how they felt when you concerned, or period, before this transformation of yours. So they need you to bend to their will. They need you to need their approval. I want to say again, but the truth is, Kingdom people, many of you, and for many of these people, maybe there are some exceptions, but y'all weren't seeking these people's approval. But they took it that way because how you did maybe ask for their advice. You did, communicate certain things with them. You were thinking that they were supportive of you because you thought it was a reciprocal relationship before you realize what it really was. So what they thought was you seeking their approval, they want that back. They want to feel like the big dog in your life again because you made them feel that way. And in some cases, maybe you did seek their approval, but you learned that was not the thing to be doing, period. You know what I'm saying? With anyone for that matter, except for where that's necessary because of the conditions and what it is that you're pursuing and having to, get the pass on certain things, which is kind of different, but I just have to point that out. And so, yeah, Kingdom people, these people are feeling the way because they need your approval. They need your approval, but they need you to need their approval so they can feel approved. But you're not doing it. You're not going. And it's really troubling them. It's really troubling them because they know you don't need their approval. You're not even the kind of person that be doing all that. And as I said, they know that you definitely ain't looking for their approval because they ain't even on the level where you at. Not trying to look down on anybody, but they even know they not on your level, which is why they need you to need their approval to feel approved because they want to feel like they on your level. So in their twisted thinking, Kingdom people, they need you to need their approval to feel approved, and particularly approved by you.